Guys, we've got the Corvette ready to go here. We've got some cameras on it. We've got cameras inside. And guys, we're going to be talking about the new 2019 ZR1. I talked a little bit about on Tuesday. I am going to the LA Auto Show where we're going to see this thing. It is going to be so exciting. So if you're brand new to the channel, or if you have not hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell button for sure, because when I'm out there in LA sometime on December 2nd in the morning, of course, if you're on the East Coast, their time frame is about a 3-hour difference. I'm going to be getting to that show probably around 7 o'clock their time, which would be, what, 10 o'clock if you live on the East Coast, and 9 o'clock if you live here in Central Standard Time. But I'm going to be doing a live stream in front of the brand new ZR1. So make sure that you're already subscribed and you've already got your notifications turned on. That way you don't miss that, because it's going to be cool. I'm going to answer probably 3 or 4 questions while I'm there, going around checking out the car with my own 2 eyes. But guys, let's get out in the car. Let's get some exhaust notes. Let's get some side shots. Hey, it's always great when you're out in the Corvette. Well, guys, what an amazing last 7 days. It's been crazy. I don't know about you guys, but you know, I've been trying to get my hands on every single thing that is out there to deal with the ZR1. Now, the order pricing guide is not going to be coming out until November 20th. So unless that somehow leaks, you know, we don't know the price just yet. Now, I'm taping this. You're watching this on Saturday. I taped this the previous Sunday. The reveal just happened. All the specs just came out. I just posted a picture on Instagram of just an amazing shot of that car. So there's going to be some information, I'm sure, that's probably going to come out between now and then. You guys just saw me on Tuesday on the live stream where I told you guys I was going to the LA Auto Show, which I'm super stoked about. If you happen to live down in LA, send me an email. Maybe we can talk a little bit. But all that's booked. I'm ready to go. Wow. You got to catch your breath. But in today's video, guys, I'm going to talk about a couple of things when it comes to, am I getting a ZR1? Am I going to get rid of the Black Mamba? Am I going to get rid of the Z06? And, you know, I want to talk a little bit about, if you're brand new to the channel, I have a 2016 Z06 that is a 3LZ package, all the aero, everything like that on. I put it on myself. It's just, I built it the way I want it. It's got the Corsa Extreme exhaust system, which you guys will hear some clips of here in a minute. But I want to take just a moment and I want to show you this car. So check out this little clip.
guys, I don't know about you, but every time I see this car in its form, I can't ever imagine getting rid of this car. You know, this car has created so much over the last 2 years. It's created this channel. Many of you guys are here because of this car. You know, you saw it on Instagram somewhere and you clicked and you watched a video. It's just an amazing car. And to think about getting rid of it, it really has me in a, you know, just almost a brain freeze, because I love this car so much. I enjoy it. And so, you know, looking at the ZR1 and then looking at this particular car here, I don't know, guys. I don't know if the new ZR1 is going to be enough for me to say goodbye to this car. And you may say, Chuck, well, you know, if you don't know, this is a paid-for car. I've saved up about 5 years and bought this car. And, you know, that was the, you know, my, you know, at the time it was a dream car for me to one day get to. And it took me 5 years to get there. So it's, you know, now that I'm seeing this ZR1, I've always wanted a ZR1. You guys have known that I've always talked about getting a ZR1. And, you know, not that I'm disappointed at all in the ZR1. I'm not. I think it's a beautiful car. I think the specs on it, which I'll get into here in a moment, is amazing. But, you know, again, we don't know the pricing, so I'm thinking 120 to 127,000 is what the cost is going to be. You know, I could sell the Black Mamba probably for around 68 or so. I just don't know, again, if, let me turn my sound down here. I just don't know if I can get rid of her, guys. And I don't see myself having two Corvettes from the standpoint of, you know, my wife's not, you know, real, you know, she loves riding in it with me, but she's not real big and out driving it herself. And I don't want this car to set. If I was to get rid of it, I would want someone to own this car and enjoy it as much as I do. Because I'm afraid that if I got the ZR1, all I would want to do is drive it. Now, guys, looking at the ZR1, you know, I said, you know, this is a car that, you know, it's nuts. How beautiful it looks, how well the front end looks, all the carbon fiber on the car. I mean, it's going to be a crazy car. You know, why the ZR1 is going to be such an amazing track car. You know, the ZL1 has the ZL1 1LE, which basically has the same engine, and it's got some different tuning and then the suspension, but the aero on that thing is sick, and that's what the ZR1 is going to be for the C7. I think it's going to be more of a nimble car. I think it's going to be more responsive. Of course, we know it's going to have the bigger Eaton supercharger that's going to be putting out 755 horsepower with 715 pounds of torque, which is just crazy to think that that's going to be on a production car. You know, they're you know, going to be refining, you know, getting rid of any type of heat soak issue whatsoever, because they're putting 13 heat exchangers on this car. That is also crazy. Now, they're also offering that car in a A8. In previous generations, they've always been manual. You know, with 82% of Corvettes now being made, they are all automatic. And, you know, I'm sure in the future, I know so many people love the manual, but I think in the future with a 10-speed, you know, a manual at that point just doesn't make sense if you're looking for a total performance car. Yes, it takes a little bit away from your experience with the car. I totally get that as someone who has, you know, driven manual cars almost all of my life. I've had an A8. I love it. I enjoy it. If I get a ZR1, it's going to probably most likely have a manual in it. I mean, an A8 in it, an auto, just simply because I do so much filming in these cars and I don't have to worry about shifting or anything else. Plus, so the car is going to be, again, just crazy. You know, it is 140 pounds heavier. You know, all of that weight is going to be basically the supercharger and forward with the heat exchangers and the front end. You know, basically from the A-pillars back, it's no different from a Z06. except for, you know, the wing that's going to be on the back. You're inside, your cockpit, all of that's pretty much going to be the same other than the steering wheel. You're going to have the option, of course, for the carbon fiber. All the carbon fiber that's going to be in the inside. I'm sure some of the stitching on the 3LZ or whatever they're going to call that package, because there are going to be some different levels of the aero. We know the wing on that car is going to be crazy. There's going to be a couple of different options. If you want the Big Daddy, it's going to be the 2TK big wing, which adjusted can give you up to 950 pounds of downforce on the back. That's really going to be huge for, you know, taking 755 horsepower and keeping it on the track. You know, I think that's the biggest issue with the Z06. Yes, it has supposedly some issues with heat soaking and getting hot and those types of things. But the other thing is 650 pounds of horse, or 650 horse is a lot on a track, and that's kind of where the Z06, you know, hasn't that's where it really lacked on the track, is the aero on the car. Yeah, it's got the wicker bill, but that's got a lot of drag on it. You know, so I'm glad to see that GM, even though they've got the bigger wing and it's going to be up adjusted high enough where, of course, you can still see out the back, but it's not going to have as much drag as the wicker bill has on the Z06. You know, they've made some new adjustments in the air and fuel systems, which, you know, a lot of people have always said about the fuel system on the Z06 is it was pretty much maxed out with the 650 pounds of torque and the 650 horsepower, that if you did any major modifications to it, you had to change out the fuel system because it just couldn't keep up. So I'm glad to see that the ZR1 is, they've done some upgrades there. Of course, adding the extra 100 plus horsepower to the car, it definitely needed that. But as far as it's going to have the Cup 2 tires, it's going to have you know, the same type of suspension, but it's just going to be tuned differently than the Z07 package is on the Z06. So my initial thought on the ZR1 is going to be, do I think it's worth 120 to 125, maybe 130 max? Yes, I think it is worth the money if you're looking at what you're going to be getting. But this is the only issue I have. Is that car for everybody who has a Z06? No. The only thing that I have with going to be the difference in the price is going to be, right now you can get, you know, right now is an awesome time to be looking at buying a Corvette. Because number one, the 2017s, the 2018s have incredible deals on them. You know, we talked about that in a couple of live streams a couple of weeks ago. You know, I'm seeing Z07 packages for going for $83,000, brand new Corvette Z06s. And, you know, again, that's, I mean, we're talking close to $50,000 difference. You're getting the carbon ceramics, you're getting the, you know, 650 horse, you know. I just don't know, you know, if you're looking to, you know, maybe you've got a Stingray or a Grand Sport now, and you know, the new one is coming out, the new ZR1, and you're thinking, you know, wow, you know, I'd love to be able to get one of those. You know, I still think the Z06 is probably the best bang for the buck from what you're going to get, just simply because, number one, who knows what the price of the ZR1 is going to be. Hopefully there won't be any price gouging from dealerships, you know, which I'm sure may happen in some areas. But some people have said that, you know, they're going to sell them at MSRP, so there's not going to be any incentives on these cars, and so you're going to pay full MSRP most likely on a new ZR1. I just don't know if that car having 100 more horsepower and, you know, some more torque, yes, it does have a better supercharger, things like that, at least we think now. I just don't know if it's worth $50,000 when you can take a Z06, you can pro charge it, you could change out the lower, maybe the upper pulley, and get easily to 750 horsepower and increase the torque without going really crazy with it. I hope to gain from just talking with you, because you guys are like family, is, you know, I'm trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to do. You know, it's the new thing that's out. We all want to rush to get it. I understand that. I have the means to be able to do it, but I'm torn between getting rid of this car and getting the new car, because I know I can't keep both. Guys, I'm going down. We're going to look at this car face to face, and I'm going to begin putting together numbers and looking at, you know, you can always look at the past to see what the future is somewhat going to do. And, you know, the only thing that scares me about this new ZR1 is how much depreciation is taking place within the C6 ZR1. And, you know, we don't know. I think Corvette is going through some changes. It may go through, you know, we know about the C8. Now, what is that car going to be? Are they going to be going to a mid-engine car and somehow they're going to make it, you know, price-wise to where they can still come out with a mid-engine car and it's still around 60 to 65,000 like a standard Stingray is now? Are they going to be getting away from the front engine? Is the ZR1 going to be the last ZR1 with a front engine in it? I mean, I don't know. All those things can factor in to how well that car is going to hold its value. And, you know, looking at ZR1s that were purchased in 2013 for around $113,000 all the way up to $124,000. Those cars are going right now in the mid 60s and have less than 15,000 miles on them. So those cars have lost close to $50,000 just in value. Now, of course, I'm not naive to not realize that anything with a motor in it is going to drop in value unless it's some crazy, you know, car that, you know, is some type of collectible. And, you know, that's why, again, I don't want to rush to get rid of a car that I truly do enjoy for something and spend that kind of money and know in 5 years that my ZR1 is going to be worth $70,000 and there may be some new mid-engine car out. Not that I'm a mid-engine guy, but, you know, there was a lot of people that had a C6 that said they would never own a C7 and now they drive one. So I hate to never say never, but you just never know. So guys, make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my thoughts, you know, I love to hear you guys' feedback. And as we go throughout this process, of course, in the future, going out there, checking this car out, me, you know, thinking about it, praying about it, and just really deciding on what I want to do going forward, whether or not I'm going to keep the Z06 and, you know, maybe in 3 or 4 years, purchase a ZR1 that's going to have low mileage on it and is going to be in great shape, because that's always the case, and save some money. But guys, I appreciate you stopping by the channel this morning, and I appreciate you guys giving the video a thumbs up, dropping a comment. And guys, until I see you at the next video, I hope each and every one of you have a blessed week. Now, let's check out some of your beautiful rides. I was too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one, and I can't wait to see you Hindsight is fleeting when your heart's bleeding and all you can see is red, till you discover it is within each other to forgive and make amends. If I had known then what I know now, I wouldn't have said what I said. I took the long road, thought I'd be better on my own. Sometimes what's right is wrong instead, 'cause I